And it's time for this week's Riz Show E-Memoriam. Take it away, Rafe.
All right, for those of you that don't know, the E-Memoriam is every Fridays. We say goodbye to people much like an Oscars in memoriam. People we lost, whether it was something we discussed, a topic, emails, or just all-out internet trolls, or sometimes even ourselves, guys. We got to say goodbye to mistakes that were made.
Mm-hmm.
So without further ado, let's get it cracking this week. Up first, cool doctors. We got into a conversation about doctors smoking weed in their downtime, and some people ain't as cool as we thought they'd be. So today we say goodbye to cool docs, the one who wear Yeezys in the OR, fist bump your mom post-op, and unwind ripping bong hits out of a pineapple watching house reruns.
Hell yeah.
Sure, they had swagger. I loved them, but they also once prescribed Flonase for a fractured wrist. Mistakes were made. They were chilling high, but so was your blood pressure because they forgot to chart it. Now it's all these nerdy-ass by the book. I actually finished my residency types. You're going to be reading your full medical history before touching a stethoscope. That doesn't sound fun. But whatever. So here's to the cool docs. May you find peace in early retirement running a dispensary called The Waiting Room.
Oh, what a great name for a dispensary.
Thank you.
Waiting Room.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Thank you. Trademark. Hit me up. I want to cut. We'll miss your confidence, your charm, and your dangerously laid-back approach to internal bleeding. Bye-bye. Next
I don't
up.
want my doctor coming in going, bro.
Oh, yeah, man. I told you. The guy took my gallbladder out, had Chuck Taylors on, and it pissed me off. I wasn't happy. Or no, he had Air Jordans on, and it really upset me.
Bro, we're going to have to take that gallbladder out. I don't want that.
It's like serious, dude.
Bro, your gallbladder was not lit.
It was gnarly. Your gallbladder was gnarly.
It's supposed to be like Mike, man.
Next up, real IDs. Come on. You guys think that's happening? Get the hell out of here, dude. We had a conversation this week about real IDs, and half the squares in the room fell for it. Not me. Not me and most of the population. It's time to say goodbye to the panic, the DMV rage, and the collective stress dump over real IDs, because let's be honest, y'all, you didn't get one, I didn't get one, nobody did. Yet here we are, still flying, still buying booze, and still waiting for the government to extend it.
We'll see next month when you try to get on a domestic flight.
Well, I'll get on a domestic
into a
flight.
federal building. Okay,
I'll be
Rafe?
fine, dude. I'll be collecting warning tickets, laughing all the way to the bank because the government's like your dad bluffing to turn the car around. We're halfway to Florida, bruh. You ain't doing a goddamn thing. Real IDs, how about I put these nuts in your mouth? Bye-bye.
Damn.
Government. It was a bold thing to say in tax season. Next up, snakehead fish. Man, we found out the snakehead fish was an invasive species this week, and the Conservation Department has zero chill. Holy smokes. We say goodbye to restraint, compassion, and literally any chill whatsoever because, according to the Missouri Conservation Department, the only way to handle the snakehead fish is to go full Mortal Kombat, finish him. According to the Conservation Department, it's the only, if you catch one of these air-breathing swamp demons, you don't throw it back. You don't throw it up on the bank. You have to behead it and have a quickening as if you were the Highlander. You got to get a little fish guillotine out and take its life and suck its soul from its lifeless body. Or, and I quote, seal it in a plastic bag, which is crazy, and watch it suffocate like a mob informant. Look, I get it. They're invasive. This isn't population control, guys. This is assassination. What's next? You know, snakeheads can breathe air and walk around. They're basically like a Florida man of the fish world. And then maybe we don't need to sign the medieval execution plan like we're avenging the koi pond, okay?
Listen, get him out of here.
All right. Well, so if you see one, it's your duty to assassinate the snakehead fish by any means necessary. Bye-bye, snakehead fish. Next up, Yafo Towing.
Yafo Towing.
We talked about this a little bit, my all-night lock-in at Quick Trip, and I talked about the towing company that was dispatched and showed up 6 hours later after delaying their arrival time via text. My car broke down over the weekend. I waited till 6 a.m. for my tow truck from Yafo Towing. Yafo stands for, can I get a tow? Yafo tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Damn. And after jumping my car, the driver, whom was a very nice man, and I'm pretty sure an actual genie who's been forced to drive for this company until someone wishes to set him free, let me know that if I didn't accept a tow, that he would disappear in a puff of smoke and I would lose one roadside wish. Yafo! Bye-bye! Where'd he go?
He's gone into the ether.
He yafoed. Next up, unscheduled sex.
Oh.
We had a conversation. We all changed our minds about whether scheduled sex was square or cool. We decided it was cool. So unscheduled sex, time for you to punch out. We say goodbye to spontaneous, unplanned, let's do it right here, right now sex. All right? The kind of sex that happens in a stairwell or a lunch break or because someone bent over the dishwasher a little too fast. It was chaotic. It was passionate. It usually ended with the sock still on and someone saying, do you think the dog saw that? Oh, he did. But now we've matured. We've evolved. We've discovered the joy of scheduled sex. And let me tell you, nothing keeps a relationship spicy like penciling in a 7:15 bang sesh between your kids' karate class and the new episode of White Lotus. Come on, that's 45 minutes of ecstasy.
45 minutes?
Yeah, that's soup to nuts, baby. Okay. That's full soup to nuts. There's only really about 4 minutes of banging in the middle. Unscheduled sex is fun, but scheduled sex gets you through a Tuesday. You know what else it is? Efficient. You're not guessing, hoping, waiting for a mood. You know it's 7:45. You're getting a pile driver on your Google Calendar, and that's tight.
That's something to look forward to.
Right? Nothing gets you through a hard day like knowing that it's ending with a hard day. Come on, yeah. Bye-bye. Up next, Blink Twinks. We really upset some Blink-182 fans when we didn't show enough enthusiasm for a concert announcement this week. Well, I hate to break it to you guys, but your teenage angst has officially become middle-age angst. You're 43, Chad! You're not crying because your skateboard broke up with you anymore. You're crying because your sciatica flared up in the Trader Joe's parking lot, bitch! Sorry, we didn't throw a ticker tape parade because Blink's coming back to town for the third time this year, all right? What's your age again? Grown. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, there was one woman that was quite upset with us.
Oh, my
God. We
God.
didn't make a big deal out of it.
She was hot.
I thought she was coming down here.
I didn't know what was going on. Next up, Escalator Grandma.
Oh.
I'd like to issue a personal apology for how hard I laughed over when Moon, whom I do hold partially responsible, showed us all a video without warning of a grandma who died flipping over her grocery cart on an escalator. And
how dare you?
Moon.
Regrettably.
Can't stop laughing. I'll learn, huh?
You laughed at a tragedy.
You laughed the hardest.
Put it on me.
I did laugh the hardest, and I'm still laughing. All right? I'll meet her someday.
She's going to be waiting for you.
She'll be waiting for me.
Listen, it was tragic, but sometimes tragedy plus time equals comedy, guys. And that was funny as hell, and I was not ready. So we say goodbye to Grandma Doris, who didn't just pass on. No, she didn't go quietly. Hell no. Doris launched herself into the afterlife like a champ at the mall halfway between Bath and Body Works and a Cinnabon. Come on, Doris.
Go off, Queen.
When the escalator got feisty and her cart got cut on the edge, she ascended via escalator dismount with the grace of a Soviet gymnast and the determination of a woman who refused to take the elevator.
Is that
to
Nadia
heaven.
Comaneci? No, that is Grandma Doris.
That ain't Simone Biles. That's Grandma going to heaven. Now, I didn't mean to laugh. Lauren didn't mean to laugh, okay? We absolutely meant to laugh,
Grandma
actually.
launched her way to heaven.
Her form was so tight.
It was tight.
right over those bars.
And in our defense, it's hard not to laugh when someone flips over a shopping cart midair like a rotisserie chicken in a microwave, okay? We knew she was gone, but she was going out on her terms. Dignity, flair, and with the type of accidental somersault you only get once in a generation. So here's to Grandma Doris. Stick the landing or die trying, which, to be fair, she did both. Bye-bye.
Bye. R.I.P.
Take that escalator to heaven, Grandma. Next up, guys who think they can outrun animals. Can't believe I have to put this in here, but I do. We found out this week that an alarming amount of men believe they can outrun a multitude of animals. Well, you can't. So today we mourn the death of the straight man's most cherished fantasy that in a moment of primal danger, his body will suddenly override genetics, training, physics, and become an unstoppable beast of speed. It won't! They picture themselves leaping over logs, dodging antlers, and diving into rivers like it's the movie Predator, but it actually ends with them face down in a ditch, pants ripped, one ambulance ride away from getting the daddy stitch in their Dark Star. Come on, Phil! Let's be real. What actually happens is a torn ACL, a girl is shrieking, a TikTok video titled, "When You Think You Got That Dog in You, But You Only Got That Jog in You. Bye-bye." This ain't a Marvel origin story, dog. It's the last 30 seconds of your life. Double bye-bye. Finally, first ever, guys. Monument. This is a big day. Mark the calendars.
Okay.
First ever rememoriam. That's right, trademark. Rememoriam.
Oh, rememoriam.
Because some things refuse to stay dead. Today, for the first time in recorded history, we are forced to create a rememoriam. We gather not for a funeral, but for something far more unsettling, a resurrection. For the very fabric of time has been ripped at the seams, and from its smoking brimstone and rhinestone-encrusted ashes, two horrors, once banished, have arisen and clawed their way from the grave together. Tramp stamps are cool again.
Oh, tramp stamps, that's right.
And dire wolves are back. These are not unrelated phenomena. Be wary, O people of Earth. A lower back phoenix has risen from the ashes of 2007, fluttering between low-rise waistbands with a renewed vengeance, that ancient emblem of tequila-fueled weekends in Juicy Couture. Once the proud territory of the early aughts rebellion and Girls Gone Wild DVDs, it has returned to feed. Rebranded, repackaged, and paraded by people born after Y2K who've never seen a single episode of TRL and have no recollection of the abdominal muscles of one Eric Nies from MTV's The Grind. They display the mark of the beast with no idea how many Jaeger bombs were sacrificed at its altar. And as we laughed, just as we sighed as ironic amusement as the butterfly's sugar baby rises again, the real beast arrived. From the depths of frozen DNA, man has reawakened the dire wolf, not a metaphor, not a band name. A genetically reawakened 800-pound prehistoric murder dog summoned back to life through wolf DNA and godless hubris of science. They extracted the hellhounds from a tooth. That's right, one cursed molar pulled from the icy gums of a long-dead apex predator. And now science hath stirred the broth of the devil soup. Double, double, fang and trouble, from ancient tooth our doom shall bubble, eye of wolf and ink of ass. Raise the beast that once was ash. Wah!
Ink of ass.
And now, dear God, we live in a timeline where an influencer with a slippery when wet scrawled across their lumbar in Comic Sans named @WolfDaddy666 on IG will inevitably try to ride a direwolf shirtless for clout. This is no coincidence. These two unholy resurrections are linked. The tramp stamp is a sigil, the direwolf is the steed, and the apocalypse has begun. So now we remourn what was once mourned. We issue not a eulogy, but a warning, Sir Riz. Hide your midriffs, burn your wolves, stockpile silver bullets, and shots of rumplements. These two forces were never meant to coexist, but here they are, growling at your hindquarters and the other inked above it. We tried to warn you. We mocked the tramp stamp. We said no regrets. We assumed dire wolves were content in the fossil record and George R.R. Martin novels, but apparently God turned his back and science got drunk and Gen D trusted the new god of TikTok. Now they've converged in an apocalyptic mashup of bad decisions and biology. Because if the lower back tattoo is hot again and wolves the size of mid-sized sedans are now real, what is next? MySpace, Ed Hardy, a new Dane Cook special? This is an evolution. This is fashion and science holding hands and skipping towards the end times. May God help us all. Bye-bye. Rememoriam, chapter and verse 001. And now, real RIPs. We only had one this week. Clem from Blondie. And I don't have any other on record. If I've missed one, feel free to correct me now. Otherwise, there and thus concludes this week's E-Memoriam.
Thank you, Rick. Is our guest here?
Yes.
Oh.